So this happens often, too often, kind of way too often. Let's say you get injured on the job and your employer sends you, as they should, to a doctor's office. And you get to the doctor's office and the doctor's office calls you in to go see the doctor, and you stand up and you notice your supervisor or this person from safety is standing up, and they start walking in the doctor's office with you. And you're like, wait a second. And your supervisor says, oh, it's workers' compensation. You have to let me come into the appointment with you. Do you? Hi everyone, this is Kaplan Morrell with Kaplan Morrell, and since 1997 we've been helping injured and disabled workers in Colorado get the benefits that they deserve. And if you or anyone you know has been injured on the job, we'd love to be able to help you. In the meantime, if you found this video helpful, please like, please subscribe, and with that, let's dive into it. Today we're going to discuss something that oftentimes happens with injured workers, and that is they get into an accident and then they find themselves having to allow their supervisor or someone from safety be able to come in. What's worse is sometimes I've had clients who they have their appointment, the supervisor's there or safety's there, and then the appointment's over and the supervisor or safety director or whoever's in the appointment says, well, why don't you go on and wait in the exam room? The doctor and I have to talk. And you're like, well, if it's about me, shouldn't I be in there? No, it's workers' compensation. We have a right to talk with the doctor. Another scenario, which this happens a lot, is maybe they don't go to the appointment with you, but you go to the doctor's office, he or she gives you restrictions, maybe a plan, maybe the appointment is next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Maybe the restrictions are you can only stand for an hour a day and you have to sit down, and your supervisor says, wait, that's unacceptable. Maybe we don't want you to have appointments during the workday. Maybe we can't accommodate you, and so we need to get those restrictions changed. And you find out that your supervisor or safety manager or someone has called the doctor to chat with the doctor and say, hey, can you change the restrictions? Can you change the appointment? And the big question that injured workers get is, or have for me, is do I have to permit that? Do I, as an injured worker, lose all rights to medical privacy just because I'm getting medical care under workers' compensation? And the short answer is not entirely. So, do you lose medical privacy if you are seeking workers' compensation benefits and medical care for the workers' compensation benefits? And the short answer is yes, to an extent. The insurance company has a right to get your medical records, your medical history, for the body part that you are treating for. They not only get to have the medical records that they're paying for, right, the documents, the treatment that you're getting as a result of the injury, but they also have a right to your medical records before the injury, but only as to that same body part, to make sure that they are paying the right thing, right? If you've had massive amount of problems before with your back and you injure your back again, the insurance company needs to know that they're not paying to get a messed up back that's now a little more messed up back to 100% because it wasn't 100% to begin with, okay? Now, most of the time, I only see medical records going from the doctor's office to the insurance company. I don't see it going to the employer. Sometimes the employer will get it, and worse is when the employer starts inserting themselves into the medical doctor-patient relationship. So let's talk real quick answers. Your supervisor, someone from safety, wants to go into the medical appointment with you. Do you have to permit that? Answer, no, you do not. You can say, sorry, this is my medical appointment. You stay outside. Now, if the doctor says to you, hey, I won't treat you unless this supervisor's in there, then you can go, great, doctor, you put that in writing and I'll go find myself a different doctor, who will treat me respecting my medical privacy. Okay? And maybe you put it a little less lawyer-like, but that's how I would do it. Okay? Which is, no, I'm the patient, you are the doctor, our relationship is independent of the employer. So, no, you do not have to permit your supervisor, your safety director, whatever, to come into the appointments with you. That also goes, by the way, for sometimes what we call case managers, where case managers will say, well, I'm with the insurance company and I have to know what's going on, et cetera, so I'm coming to the appointment with you. And the answer is no, you don't. Okay? 2, can my employer call the doctor, communicate with the doctor without my knowledge, without my involvement? And the answer, again, is no, they can't. Now, they can say, hey, we want to have a conference with the doctor and we're going to set it up, and they can invite you to that conference. You have to be present during that conversation. It is completely unethical, in my opinion, for your treating doctor to talk about your medical care without giving you knowledge. And in fact, the workers' compensation law says that if there's a conference, the doctor has to take notes and provide the notes to everybody. So don't be bamboozled, buffaloed by somebody saying, no, you've got to let me in, it's work comp, and suddenly it's up is down, down is up, all rules, regulations are gone. And all rules, regulations, common sense is gone. That's not true. Now, if you find out that your employer is talking with the doctor and trying to dictate care, hey, doctor, we don't want him to have appointments during work hours. Hey, doctor, we don't want him to have restrictions against standing because we can't accommodate that, etc. You absolutely need to get an attorney. You absolutely need to get an attorney to put a stop to this. And there are things that we as workers' compensation attorneys can do to protect your medical privacy and to limit a overzealous employer's efforts to insert themselves into your medical doctor-patient relationship, even if it's a work injury. So that being said, if you are injured on the job and you are seeing something weird is going on with your medical treatment and your employer, maybe your employer is getting the medical records and talking about your medical condition with other people, even though they shouldn't. Maybe your employer is trying to go to the appointments with you. Maybe worse, the employer is actually trying to communicate with the doctor without your presence, or the doctor is seemingly okay with that. You need help, and that's where Kaplan Morrell comes in. Since 1997, we've been helping injured and disabled workers, and if you or anybody you know has been injured on the job, please, please, please give us a call for a free consultation. Our number is 970-356-9898. You can text us at that number as well. There's lots of ways to reach out to us. And remember, you have a right to medical privacy. It's somewhat limited, but it's not totally given up simply because you've got a work injury. And that's why we're here on your side. Thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. Bye.